Now, there is a drug that's been discovered that I'm going to tell you about now. A drug that can control thousands and improve the expression of thousands of genes, that can help regulate beneficially dozens of hormones, that can help control and improve the function of tens of thousands of protein networks. It's something that works faster, better, and cheaper than any drug ever discovered. It's available to almost everyone on the planet right now, and it's food. Food is the single most powerful drug on the planet. It is not like a drug. It is medicine because it controls your biology in ways that are more powerful than any drug can do in ways that we don't even understand yet. These are terms you've probably never heard of, like FOXO and DAF2 and NRF2 and sirtuins. These are genes that produce transcription factors that regulate your biology. They regulate the aging process, and they regulate most chronic disease, inflammation, oxidative stress, that are driving most of the chronic disease that we have. And most of these genes regulate and improve longevity by doing one thing. They improve your blood sugar control. They improve your ability to regulate your blood sugar and control insulin. Ray Kurzweil told me he cured his own type 2 diabetes decades ago by understanding this. And the way these genes work, and the way these transcription factors work, and the way that food influences them is through your mitochondria. Your mitochondria are the master energy factories in your body. We're all talking here about time management, and we've heard some great talks about that. But what's more important is your energy management, is your level of functioning, and how we take food and oxygen and turn it into energy. If you don't do that well, you end up with damaged mitochondria, and damaged mitochondria lead to a loss of energy, and the ultimate loss of energy is death. So the key here is, how do we regulate our mitochondria? How do we control these genes? How do we improve our blood sugar and insulin control? And how do we do that in a way that's going to solve this epidemic of chronic disease? Because it's what is the biggest driver of most chronic disease. And we do it through understanding that food is not just energy. It's not just calories. It's information. So different foods with exactly the same calories create very different gene expressions. They change your biological software in very different ways.
It is commerce that breaks down barriers between people. Even if you don't love your neighbor, you want to sell to your neighbor. and that's what happens. It forces you, without you even knowing it, to become involved with people. So even if you're the Hollywood caricature, and as you know in Hollywood, business people kill more people than serial killers do in movies, and because it's such an easy villain. You know, if you focus on a serial killer, you might offend somebody about something, you know, where the guy grew up or something, I don't know. But anyway, so business people are, say, villains, and either they're grossly overweight, the jowls go up and down in glee at the misery they cause, or they're bone thin with bony hands, and the same thing, that the business people are in the business of killing people, poisoning the air, and that kind of thing. But even if you're that caricature, in a true free market, you don't succeed unless you provide something that somebody else wants. It's all about, Smith talked about transactions. So greed means taking something that doesn't belong to you, but in the free market, you may lust for money, but you're not going to get it unless you provide something that somebody else wants. And Steve Jobs famously said, when asked about surveys, marketing surveys, he said, no, we don't do them because people don't know what they want until we show them. and that's the essence of entrepreneurship. You put something out there, you don't know whether it's going to work. You're the last one to get paid off. You got to pay the workers, the suppliers, the creditors, and God knows who else. And you're the last one in line. And so it's a combination of, one, even if you don't have that mentality or desire to do it, with all these voluntary associations, you do find a place where you can be a leader. And if you desire to devote your whole life to it, and that means you're not going to live a balanced life, there's no such thing as a balanced life when you focus on something to make something happen, you have the opportunity to do it.
What is an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? So I say there are three types of people in the world. People who actually can see the problem, and let's call them human beings, right? And there's some of us who can even find a solution to that problem, and we're going to call them visionaries or even coach or even consultants. And there are few people in this room who can actually go out and do something about it, and we're going to call them entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the ones who are the problem solvers, who just don't see the problem, who just don't come up with a solution, who go out and do something about it. And those are the entrepreneurs we celebrate. So you look back and saying, if innovation and entrepreneurship can solve all the problem, why every time we walk, we see a problem and we ask the same question? Why is it someone do something about it? Why can't someone do something about this? Here is a big problem. Why can't someone do something about it? The question you should be asking is, what is it that I can do about it? What can I do about it to solve this problem? That's an entrepreneurial mindset. And that's how you solve a problem. There's not a problem, how big a problem it is. I will tell you, it's no easier to build a $100 million company to build a $1 billion company. In fact, I'll argue, it's so much easier to build a $1 billion company than to build a $100 million company. You have to think so small. You can't think big when you're trying to build a $100 million company. You got to be saying, why can't we go to the moon? What stops us from going to the moon? What stops us from solving big problems? And never be afraid to say, and my company is profitable and I make money. If you want to make $1 billion, how do you make $1 billion? You go out and solve a $10 billion problem.